They told me to be the bigger person. I stayed my size. My coworker Jared had been stealing my lunch from the office fridge for 3 months. Not occasionally, every single day. I'd label my containers with my name and permanent marker, and by noon they'd be empty in the trash. I complained to HR twice. Both times they said there wasn't enough evidence. No cameras in the break room. Could be anyone, but I knew it was Jared. He sat 2 desks away from me and would always make these little comments. Man, someone brought Mediterranean today. Smelled amazing. Or that pasta must have been homemade. The portions were generous. He'd say it right to my face, smirking. My wife spent an hour every night preparing my lunches. She'd wake up early to make fresh salads with grilled chicken, homemade soups, carefully portioned meals because I was trying to lose weight for our wedding anniversary trip. Every day I'd open the fridge and find an empty container. I started eating vending machine chips for lunch. Gained 12 pounds in 2 months. My wife thought I was lying about eating her food. We had 3 arguments about it before I finally convinced her someone was stealing it. She wanted me to confront Jared directly. I wanted proof first, so I set up my phone in the break room, hidden behind the coffee maker, recorded 4 hours of footage. There he was, 11:47 a.m., opening the fridge, pulling out my clearly labeled container, sitting down at the table and eating my wife's homemade lasagna like it was his own mother's recipe. I took the footage to HR. They called Jared in. He denied everything until they showed him the video. His excuse? I thought the labels were suggestions. I didn't know he was serious about keeping it. HR gave him a written warning. That's it. A written warning for 3 months of theft. My manager pulled me aside after the meeting. Look, Jared is going through some stuff at home. Try to be the bigger person here. Let it go. I nodded and smiled and said I understood. I did not let it go. The next week I brought my lunch like normal, but this time I added something special. Carolina Reaper powder, the hottest pepper on earth, enough to make a grown man cry for his mother. I labeled the container with my name, put it in the fridge, went back to my desk and waited. 11:52 a.m. I heard the screaming from across the office. Jared came running out of the break room with tears streaming down his face. His lips were swelling. He was coughing so hard he could barely breathe. Someone call 911, he gasped between heaves. I've been poisoned. The paramedics came. They checked him out, determined it was just extreme capsaicin exposure. Not life-threatening, just incredibly painful. HR called me in the next day. Jared is claiming you intentionally poisoned him. This is serious. I kept my face completely neutral. I don't know what you're talking about. I just like spicy food. Always have. The HR rep looked at me for a long moment. He says you did this on purpose because of the lunch situation. I shrugged. I brought my own lunch, labeled with my name, put it in the fridge for myself to eat. If someone else chose to steal my food, that's not my responsibility. She couldn't argue with that. Jared tried to file a police report. The officer who responded actually laughed. So, you stole someone's lunch and it was too spicy? That's not a crime, sir. Jared quit 2 weeks later. On his last day, he stopped by my desk. You're a psychopath. You know that? You could have just talked to me like a normal person. I leaned back in my chair. I did talk to you. Through HR. Twice. You got a written warning and kept smirking at me in meetings, so I handled it my way. He stared at me. What kind of person does something like this? The kind of person who got told to be the bigger person and decided to stay exactly my size. He walked out without another word. That night, my wife made me a victory dinner. The anniversary trip was back on, and I never had to eat vending machine chips for lunch again. Sometimes being the bigger person just means letting people walk all over you. I'd rather be petty and well-fed.